Alright, here we go. True suspension, Nissan Frontier airbag kit. Unboxing. So, airline. Unpack this stuff. There's a bracket that goes around the axle. It goes around the frame. Here's the upper frame bracket. Two different ones. They're different on each side. I guess that goes around the axle. Got some screw bolts. Another bracket, airbag. Goes around the frame. Obviously the square bolts go around the frame. Some weird bolts here. I guess this one goes here. No instructions that I know of. I guess these square bolts go in here. And then I got an email from the company with some supplementary instructions with a new picture. I guess that goes around the frame. I'm not sure how that works. Oh, maybe it goes this way. Ah, it goes diagonally. Okie dokie, that's the thing. I got some fittings. And then two airbags. One for each side. It's all in the box. So what brand are these? Doesn't say. Alright. Air spring assembly. So obviously I got to figure out which. I think the email had a picture that there was a redesigned part. So this is either the right side or the left side. I don't see any labels on them. Shouldn't be hard to figure out. So those go onto the axle. There's no bolts. There's no bolts. I would think there's bolts. I saw in the picture those bolts that are here to here, as opposed to the Firestone one had like carriage bolts. Huh. Yeah, there's no bolts. Okay, step one for installing the true suspension. Lift the truck. Oh yeah. Good job. Whoever built that rack and that other rack. I don't think the rack is in the rack. Oh, just perfectly clears. So if you have a kayak rack, make sure you don't hit the other kayak rack. Alright, so now I got full droop, full height. Now we can pop the wheels off. Alright. Step one, let's remove a wheel. The round thingy. Oh, there's a lot of room in here. I love this cute little extra bump stop that's been bumping out. So this is a full droop. Actually, I think these shocks are for a D22, which are a hair shorter, so it actually goes down like another ½ an inch, but whatever. Big overload. So these big old brackets. Where did they go? I know I did see some kind of instructions. Actually, I think I did download a PDF. Yeah, it was like, cut off this bump stop. I could just actually, I was gonna say I could just take this thing off, but. Okay, so it looks like this is the left side and that's the right side. Just because that one, actually, let's double check this. They go this way. Well, actually, I don't know now because it does clear on both sides. So that one does fit both sides. So I don't know why it wouldn't fit over yonder. There's nothing over there. I know I read on, I think it was on one of the instructions, something about the 2022 D21 or D40. I mean D40. Something about the 2021 or 2022 or something. This canister's in the way. This is an 18. So I guess I don't know which one's which. I did get an email from the company, truth was mentioned, so I'll look at that again, but I wish I could tell. Looks like there's either bracket will go on either side. I should take the other side apart just to confirm. So I guess first step is cut this thing off. I'm debating whether or not I want to unbolt it, take it off and cut it. Or I was thinking of just taking it off completely and just putting the U-bolts back on. Let's see, do I need that thing? I know there's a pin in here. Hate to cut it, but not real happy about this thing just kind of straddling it. I would have made it so it would bolt it on there, but well, that's me. So I gotta find some hardware. Oh, a bunch of hoses and stuff here. Alright. Oh, there's some steel in there. Yeah, there's steel in there. Okay, open the rest. It's gonna be something like that either way. Alright. That looks pretty sweet. So now I just gotta figure out the bolt length. I'll buy some bolts. Those definitely go down there. Oh shoot, I threw the other one. Oh no, that's right. So I don't know which bracket yet. These bolts for the top through into that. I'll give you a lot of room for a nut. I'm gonna go buy some new nuts. I think these aren't metric, unfortunately. I wonder if I can buy these in metric. I don't really like using old-fashioned SAE hardware. But these are not gonna last. These are gonna fall off. Without lock washers or nylock. I don't trust these for okay, so this is the left side frame rail before installation. So I gotta pop off the two brake lines, and I've already popped off this one main electrical harness. So I gotta take this off. Hopefully bend these lines out of the way. Okay. So Ian, do you want to try to fish that bolt? So I've already pre-bolted the bag onto the bracket. There it is installed with the U-bolts. They kind of bend a little bit as you tighten them because I think they're just mild steel. So I'm not sure what to torque them to, but I just snugged them up. We can definitely see they're deforming as they wrap around the frame. So I'm going to throw some paint on there. And what I did is I pushed this thing all the way back until I hit this stop, because as the truck comes up, it's going to go back a little bit, but it's close enough. It'll bend, so it should be pretty straight. This is actually a full droop, remember. This is full down travel. So it's just going to go up from here. So it looks good. Like I said, I'm going to make new brackets. I'm going to use conventional bolts. That's just me though. But I like the way this one looks. Let me show you the other side. Okay, so I had to put this one all together, but the bolt got cross threaded and tried to unscrew it and it snapped off the nut. So this is exactly why I didn't actually want to use like specialty hardware. I wanted to use conventional bolts. And the other issue is I shortened this bolt by like an inch because it was hitting the bag in the back and it was really hard to get in because it was so long. So I shortened it, but then after I put it back together, I really didn't like how this overhangs so much. And then I found this bracket and I was like, I couldn't figure out what this was for, and I finally realized it's circle. So I'm assuming that goes underneath the U-bolt. That's why the U-bolts were super long. So I picked up some 10mm 1.5 nuts, 1" 3/8 bolts, and some 75mm 10mm 1.5 bolts. Since I didn't get any hardware, and some washers, some 3/8 washers for the airbags. I was thinking about retapping the airbags to metric, so but I can use a 14mm wrench. I just don't really like to carry anything but metric tools nowadays. But these will work. Okay, so got some bolts. I had to trim the head a little bit. Get them fit in that bracket. 75mm, 10mm. But I bought some nylock nuts. And there's no way to get a socket on here, and my wrench won't fit either. So typical, there's no way to get a wrench in there to get them tight, so I need to modify these bottom brackets. It got me to thinking the best place to mount this really to be able to move them over here, because these lines are so nice and tight next to the axle on the front and the back, ABS. Since I can't, I don't want to disconnect all these lines just to tighten and loosen the bolt. It's kind of stupid. So this bracket really needs to be moved over here. This is where it starts to come apart. But this is a full droop, so it could go there. So yeah, lengthen this, or maybe even shorten this. If you move it over, you'll be able to snake it right in that hole there. Still be a little tight. What do you think about that? So you can see normal bolts don't fit. Tried to cut the head off one of them. Bought some Allen head bolts. They don't fit either. So all sanding with the old belt sander, and they fit perfectly. There we go. Fits perfect now. Just a 1/2 millimeter off of there. So. Alright, so this fit perfectly. So now I just got to weld it in. I cut off the mount that was here because it was just too hard to get to. And I was worried about it rubbing on the bag and stuff. So now I got this mount. Exactly a 1/2 inch wider than that one, because the frame is actually wider here, then here, and here, next down. 3 times. 3 different size frame. So this one is wider. I'm going to put a tab straight up here, but I don't think I'm going to bother. So here's the redesigned lower brackets. I chopped off the corners. So now you can actually put a wrench on there. Couldn't do that before. So new bolts. I think they're 10mm by this car's coming. Perfect. a lot better. Just did this one, I think. There we go. See if I can see. Let's get a wrench in there now. Let's do the other side. Oh, no power tools. Alright. We can actually torque those down now. This thing working? Put the light back. It's looking good. So now I just got to put in that one bolt and a lock washer. Guess that'd be done for now. So here's how this thing was supposed to be installed. But too late now. I shortened the bolts and now that doesn't work. I redesigned it. Here's the steel reinforced bump stop you gotta cut off. So that's now trash. Alright, so here's my attempt to put the tab back on. The same height as the other one. So I used a little piece of quarter to space this out, new tab, new spacer, notched it. Now I'm just going to tack it together and see if it fits the truck. Alright, so here's my modified bracket for the left side of the vehicle. I cut off the tab that was here. It's way hard to get to the nut. And I just put this tab back. I painted it satin black. I cut all this off, welded it back up, added on a new tab. And basically I'm just going to use 2 bolts instead of that U-bolt. I just made a flat piece of steel. Whoops, that goes there. I think I may add some little pieces in here so these don't flop around, but I can't today. I got a long trip tomorrow. 700 mile trip, so I gotta get this back on the truck or it could be off the truck, but I like to get it back on so I don't have a bump stop anymore. I want to put the airbag in there. So let's go ahead and install this thing. Got the lower one installed with the new Allen bolts. These are 75 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter head, but 10 millimeter bolt, 1.5 thread, 17 millimeter nut, 1.5 thread. Fit nice and perfect. Super easy to install with a wrench. Since I modified these tabs, so you can get a wrench under here now. So now I just gotta get the last bracket on. Here's my first mocked up. It's not sitting there right now, but it actually fits really good. I don't know if I can hold it up in the right place. There we go. That's kind of what it's going to look like. Kind of see it's actually just enough clearance around the exhaust. So I can get it out of here now.